Hello everyone, and welcome to my solo RPG channel. Today we are playing Ironsworn again. Second session. This is pretty exciting. I've got a map this time. So this is the Ironlands. There are a number of places on the landmass here, but we have founded our haven, or created our haven in the first session, or session 0 even, in the Barrier Islands, which is this set of islands here. So I've created a little settlement there called New Rock, and that is where this game is taking place. So, last session, our hero, Leela, playing with her name, not sure I like it, but I'm going to stick with it because I random rolled everything else. Leela went down to the shoreline to meet a merchant who was scheduled to come by with supplies for the haven. She found him dead. She found a creature had killed him and was ransacking his goods, and the creature ran off. The other people of Haven came. She brought them to the boat, and they didn't believe her. Not that they thought it was her. Not that they didn't believe someone had done this, but they didn't believe that the creature wasn't human. She set off to prove that it wasn't, and to catch the perpetrator, and bring them to some sort of justice. Found it going through what it had stolen, the rocks, and had a very, very, very rough fight with it, where she did not come out well. It didn't come out well either, but she didn't come out well. I've noticed that it's still on the... If I click... getting into... it's still there. That's fine. So she came back. She went through the things, found some medical supplies, was able to heal herself a little bit, came back to find one of her friends to try and get him to help move the body, but wasn't able to pull it out of the water. This creature was some kind of merfolk kind of thing, some kind of aquatic humanoid creature, and after having dealt with it, it was still in the water, floating there. She wasn't able to pull it out because she'd been that badly beaten. So she went back to try and get help. But they saw, the other villagers took one look at her and went, no, you are going to bed. You are going to rest. You are going to heal. We will deal with everything else. So they went back. They found the place that she fought the creature, place that it had fled to, but they did not find the creature itself. Now, she discovered it had said something about a promise that was made by Tessa, another villager in the haven. Villager? Havener. Something like that. And so there is now this tension there. Tessa obviously made some promise and is probably looking at Leela going, oh, she doesn't know, does she? Leela's looking at Tessa going, I can't say anything. They don't believe me that it wasn't human. They don't necessarily trust me all the time because I have said some strange things. And then they see the way, she sees the way they look at her friend Arison. So she has a friend Arison who left New Rock. Starting place. She left starting place. Left New Rock to go to the mainland, and was Bannersworn. He worked for a warlord there, and then came back and doesn't talk too much about what happened. And everyone from the Haven is suspicious of him, and he's trying to repair their relationship, the relationship he had with his people, but it's all a bit funny because he left. She sees the mistrust they have with him, and I think is careful enough not to say anything. So, we begin our session. Leela is mostly healed. When she returned, she was beaten and bloody. She would have been covered in blood because they had a fight in the water. She'd been stabbed. It was all kinds of beaten as well. The fight went rather poorly for both of them. So she was bloody, bruised, beaten. Her clothes were completely covered with watered down blood. She wasn't able to open her eyes, her blood through her hair. And I think I've decided that she now has a lame arm. Her left arm, she can't lift it. Left arm, right arm. She was right-handed. She can't use it anymore, though, or has very, very limited use in it. One of the times that it stabbed her with her own knife, it has severed something important, a nerve, and so it just hangs there limply. She has a tiny bit of movement in. I think that if that kind of thing happens, they don't have any movement in their fingers, do they? She has no use of her right arm anymore. So she's leaving her tent, leaving her cabin. The haven is made up of small, sparsely, not close together, very, very laid out stone sort of huts on a very, very rocky and barren landscape. There is some green. They do grow a little, but mainly they rely on fish. And so she is leaving and going into what sort of semblance there is of a town square. And something is going to happen. So let's look at the oracles. Now we've got plot, we've got action, theme, settlement trouble. Settlement trouble is, I think, what we want. So we're rolling on this one. Stranger causes discord. And let's give it a challenge rank. Formidable. So this is the middle thing. So a stranger is causing discord and that it is formidable. So she's going to get into the center of town, and there's a couple of people standing around, looking at her and whispering, and then they sort of call her over and say, "Leela, do you remember the merchant? What was the merchant's name? Let's give the merchant a name." Kinara. The incident the other day with Kinara. Are you all well? I think they'd probably have some idea of how she's been recovering. And so not 100%, but getting back to it, and obviously her arm is. I think she's probably tied it up so that it's not visible, not just hanging loosely at her side, but tied it to her body, like with a sling. And so she's got one long sleeve just dangling there. People might not know that her arm is lame, and she might not yet know that she'll never have use of it again. And so they're coming up and go. They're looking at her and going, the incident with Kinara. Someone else has come. So we're going to need another person. So let's get another name. Alban. So we'll go Kinara, the dead merchant. Alban, and they're going, Alban. Alban has come, and Alban wants to speak to you because you found the body. Now, Alban What is their role? Roll the roll. Albin is a farmer. That doesn't work, so I'm going to roll again. Albin is an outcast. Albin was originally from New Rock. And Albin has left to the mainland as well. So this merchant... this merchant worked. Maybe it's a group, but he worked by coming from New Rock to the mainland, and then probably to other havens along the Barrier Isles, trading with everyone. And so Albin left New Rock. Maybe we don't know why yet, but Albin is an outcast, just like what was our other friend's name? Arisen. Arisen has come back, but Albin, there's something there that barrier is harder. Okay, he's got a duty to fulfill. And we'll get a couple of descriptors. Diverse, perilous, and beautiful. So Albin is very handsome. He is very, very easy on the eyes, very good to look at. He's well dressed, and obviously made quite some money with this business and merchant. Everything about him is foreign. I mean, he was originally from here, but he is very different now. He has obviously picked up and learnt quite a bit in his travels. And he is not particularly happy. He is not happy about... He is here to find out what happened and to bring justice. Maybe he's Ironsworn himself. He is here to find justice for Kinara. And so he has come to question me and find out what else has happened. So they're coming up and going, okay, you need to see Albin and tell him what happened. And I believe that, like, I'm still not in the best of ways. So obviously I've been in a fight and everything, but is he gonna think? What's he gonna think about it? So, leaving them, they are going to obviously just say, "Oh, look, this is where to go." Maybe it's the elders. Yeah, I think that we had the old. So I've started to try doing retail versions of these. So I've revisited the first session, and I've inadvertently created an elder character that was just the person who was doing the talking from the village's perspective. So anytime that Leela in the first session was talking to the villagers, the people from the Haven, she was mainly talking to the elder. So she's going to the elder's house, the elder's hut. I need a good word for that. So she goes into the elder's hut, and now we don't know who the elder is. Let's find something for the elder. The elder is Ezra. Now I'm not rolling. It's the elder. Oh, let's see what they were, or what they were an adventure. That's interesting. Maybe Ezra settled New Rock. Maybe he brought people to New Rock. Or he's come here and he did something for the people that was enough to stabilize him as part of the community, as opposed to just being an outcast outsider. So his goal is to prove worthiness, which is good. That's relatively easy. I am still part of New Rock. Leela is still part of New Rock, and so she's one of them. They have done nothing wrong. They have not wronged this merchant group. They did not wrong Kanara. They did not wrong Albin. Descriptors. Oh, I didn't get dispositions. So smug, honest, and bold. Let's get a disposition for Albin. And let's get a disposition for Ezra. Friendly and hostile. Okay, so he's going to come off as friendly. Albin's going to try and come off as friendly, even though he probably is hostile. And Ezra's going to be cold and seem hostile to... now he's not happy. He's very honest. He's not happy with the situation. He seems slighted by Albin, and so he's just in a bad mood. He's just very hostile. Albin is, however, trying to be... He's all smiles. Okay, so I've rolled activity twice. He is tracking and leaving. Leaving does not make sense at the moment, so we'll see if that does make sense. If it doesn't make sense by the end of the scene, we'll just drop it. But Albin is tracking something. So that is interesting. Maybe that comes back to the promise that the creature had made with Tessa. So, Leela comes into the hut, opening it with her left arm, her right arm still bound and hidden under her clothes. And she's going to stand at the door and say, going to stand at the door and look in. And they're going to have stopped talking, looking to see who has opened the door and disturbed the conversation that they were having. And she's going to see Ezra, and she's going to see Ezra, look at Albin, then look back to Ezra and say, I hear that the merchants want to speak to me. And so Ezra's going to scowl at her. He isn't happy. He's not happy that she's here. He's not happy that she's having to prove her worth. He's not happy that people from his community are being questioned. And he's going to just sort of scowl and go... And but Albin, however, is going to turn to her and go, yes, hello, Leela. It's been a long time. Thank you very much for coming. I'm glad that word has reached you that I'm here. I'm very, very sorry about what happened. I believe that you were in the center of it. Are you okay? And this is going to... Ezra's just going grumble, grumble, not happy. And Leela's going to sort of see how he's acting, but then look at Albin and say, yes, thank you. I am healing. And he's going to go, but your arm. And Leela's going to say, I'm going to say, yes, it was the worst of the injuries. It stabbed me several times, and she's just going to leave it there. Doesn't really know what to say, isn't really finding the words. And Albin's going to say, it. You fought it. And she's going to go, yes. Unfortunately, we didn't recover its body. didn't have the strength after the fight to pull it from the water. The elder says, yes, yes, we found the fight. There was no creature though. Bloody don't know what is she thought she saw. She hit her head rather bad. Couldn't even see when she came back. So covered in blood she was. Whatever pirate. And Albin's going to sort of hold up his hand and say, yes, it's very, very hard here. When you're very hard when you get into troubles like this, sometimes things get out of hand, and things get confusing, especially when you hit your head. But she's okay now, and Ezra's going to sort of yes, thank you. I am much better. And he's going to say, well, what do you remember? Obviously, and he's going to look back to Ezra and say, obviously, we don't believe it. No, actually, I don't think that they've told him. I don't think they've told him anything about how I think it's some inhuman creature. So actually, what he's saying is going, what do you mean it? He doesn't understand. So he's going, I think maybe he doesn't even pick up on it. He's sort of going, okay, where she's gotten confused. I'm like, well, as confused as she may be, maybe something that she has heard will ring true. Please tell me what it is that you saw. And I think at this point she's probably a bit sick of just people not believing her. It doesn't believe him to believe her. So she's going to skirt around that. And she's going to say, well, I got to the boat. There was a very dark shadow. It looked very wild. It fled when I arrived into the water and swam away. I found Kinara's body and went and fetched everyone else. They had stolen something. Oh, they'd ransacked the thing, but I had no idea if they'd taken anything. It looked, from what I could see, like they could have. I then struck out along the coast, found a cave that I was aware of, found it there. Still half in the water, up against the rocks, going through something. I came up behind it. We got into a scuffle. Probably doesn't say that it came up behind it. We fought. It was a hard won battle, but I bested it, leaving it there floating in the water. I was battered, beaten on the rocks, stabbed with my own blade. No, just stabbed. She doesn't say stabbed with my own blade. Stabbed. It obviously had some ability to cut because as Kinara had wounds. I was stabbed, beaten against the rocks, held under the water. But in the end, through luck, I prevailed. It had taken some things. I did use some of the medical supplies that it had to treat my wounds, and then brought them back. Everything I could carry back to the elder. I wanted to take them back to the cave. I can take you there. I wanted to take them back to the cave, but they wouldn't let me at this stage because no. She was much too hurt. She had to rest. There was no way we could make her go back to the cave. And Albin's originally from New Rock, so he probably would ask, "Oh, so is it this cave?" And I'm like, "Yes, that was the one." Because everyone from New Rock would, of course, it's only a small island. They'd know all of the places. And so I'd go, yes, I see. And did you recognize the pirate? Were they from here? And no. And then she's going to think. And she doesn't want to say anything about Tessa. Because she doesn't know what they were. And so she will say, it did say that I wasn't supposed to be here. And this is going to get both the Elder and Albin to prick up their ears. Albin's very interested in this. Ezra is not happy. Why hadn't he heard this before? What is testing your bond? We're not testing a bond yet. I'm not trying to persuade him to do anything. I'm still acting passively here. But we're going to say, all right, well, what? He's going to say, well, perhaps you can take me to the cave and you can show me where they got to. And Ezra's going, he didn't say, what do you mean weren't supposed to be here? What do you think? And I don't. Just sort of Leela's sort of shaking her head, but Albin's got hearing that and going, I see. Perhaps someone on the perhaps he'd targeted Kinara for a reason. And I think at this point, because we need a quest, we need to vow. So he's going to say, at this point, yes. I believe that there are, because he's tracking something. There have been other attacks. We haven't. We do know that there have been pirates. They hadn't come this far south. We think that something is happening to undermine us. No, there hadn't been any attacks because he was there by himself. He didn't have a bodyguard. Or maybe he did have a bodyguard. He's going to actually ask. And so the only person you saw was Kinara. And Leela's going to say, yes, no, that is the only person. The only person I saw. And he's then going to go, and the pirate. It, you call it. What did it look like? And she's going to say, I don't know. Very wild. I couldn't make it out. And he's going to say wild, crazed, wild, and sort of go look at her crazed, and she's going to say, she's not going to look back to him and say surprisingly rational, but different. And he's going to, he's probably not trusting this, the fact that she's not saying something. But he's going to let it go at the moment. But he's going to say, well, we believe that something has happened, something is targeting us. We've had a few attacks. There've been a few attacks, and Kinara didn't come here by himself. And at this point, the village elder is going to look at, what do you mean there's someone else? And he's going to say, yes. We had started employing guards. Kinara had one. And I wonder if it was him that you saw. And Ezra's going to go, must be, couldn't be anything else. Definitely no one from here. And go, Leela's going to go, and what was their name? And so here we go. Now we've got a name. Now we've got another character. So we're just going to ask for their name at this stage. Kara. Kara. Well, perhaps. And this Kara, she knew of the cave. Yes. Could you take me there? I think Albin's going to say at this point. I think at this point Ezra's going to say no. At this point, no. Ezra wants to prove worthiness. He's smug, honest, and bold, but he's hostile and just sort of grumble fucking around here. But he's going to say at this point, no. You know your way to the cave. We will not be guides for you. We will, however, and he's going to look at Leela, offer aid. And Leela's going to look back at him and understand and go and nod. And here she's going to pull out her knife and has this very sort of awkward bit where she's pulling it out with her left hand. She's right-handed, pulling it up from her waist and sort of looking down at her right arm. She then tries to pull her collar down to expose some flesh at the top of her chest, where her hand is. Her hand is strapped to the top of her chest, and she draws the blade across the back of her hand, and then holds, letting it bleed on the blade a little bit, and then holds it out to Albin, and says, I swear I will work with you until we find the Kinara's, what's the wording here? Kinara's assailant, Kinara's attacker is dead. However, I vow to help you find justice for Kinara, finding the people responsible, should there be a wider effort. And so she's just gotten herself involved in finding like a smuggling ring as opposed to just a person or a thing. And at this, I think Albin's going to be a little bit not shocked, not taken aback, but not necessarily happy, but at the same time, yes, okay, this is what is happening. Mixed feelings, not unhappy, but also not happy. On one hand, he's gained a helper. On the other hand, has something that he has to take care of. But the vow was an iron vow, and he can't deny it. So I have cleared this. Here we go. The experience track is cleared. Help Albin find the ring that has been attacking the merchants, the pirates. And deal with them. And it is a formidable thing. So when I just mark and clear, okay, so for marking one is marking one whole track. So there's 10 tracks to mark. Okay. He's going to nod and go, well then, let's be off. Take me to the cave. Take me the way you went. And so she's going to be off. So, adventure moves. One of the adventure moves, secured advantage, is for when you assess the situation, make preparations, or attempt to gain leverage. So what I'm thinking, let me just see what the book says. The structure of securing an advantage is similar to face danger. You envision your action and roll plus your most relevant stat. This move, however, is proactive rather than reactive. You're evaluating the situation, strengthening your position. This move gives you an opportunity to build your momentum or improve your chance of success on a subsequent move. It's a good move to make if you want to take a moment to size up the situation, or if you're acting to gain control. It will often encompass a moment in time. So I think that what we're doing is we are taking him back to the shore where the boat landed. From there, we, the boat is probably still there. Supplies would have been secured, so they won't be on the boat anymore. And some sort of deal would have been done with Albin. Albin probably didn't come by himself either. He's probably someone has come to deal specifically with that. But Albin has come to deal with this. Albin is then going to take a look over the boat, see the blood everywhere. The damaged goods might still be there, or they might have been cleaned up a little bit so as not to get lost, but the damaged goods are still there, and he's going to start going through it. And we're going to show him around. We're going to say, this is what happened. We're going to show him where it went, and we're going to show, we're going to take him along the way to the cave, and try and find points in the daylight where I imagine this all actually happened in the day as well a few days ago. Maybe a week has gone by. But what we're going to do is we're going to roll secure an advantage, and we're trying to find something that will help. Something that will help him understand that we are helping. With the fact that I've sworn an iron vow, that is very serious, and so he trusts me, because that is very serious for the Ironlanders. And so he's trusting me as far as this goes, and finding, getting Kinara justice. So he's trusting me on this quest. We're trying to. We're going to roll wits, because it's all about observation and insight, and we're trying to take him to where the creature was to try and learn something, or teach him something about the creature that will give him an idea, give him some knowledge as to or some insight into what is happening. So it's rolling wits. There's no input extras, so it's a miss. So we go through everything. Now we're paying the price. I don't know that there is any negative. I just think we don't find anything. There's nothing that comes up. He doesn't trust that I haven't. He doesn't trust that I'm telling him everything, because I haven't told him about the creature. And so I think that maybe this is it. Maybe paying the prices, I have to tell him about the creature. So we're going to make it to the cavern, and I have said it. I've constantly said it. This thing, it. I killed it. This is where I last saw the body. Its body. I tried to pull it out of the water, but I couldn't. And it's a wet cave, rocky. It would be clean at this point. The blood would have washed away. So there'd be nothing to show. There might be some scrapes on rock where iron had hit it, but really there's nothing to really show for it. I took a different way in, obviously because I didn't swim into the cave. But we don't learn anything. But he's hearing me say it, and he understands that I haven't told him about it. And so he's going to start asking, look, what is it? You keep calling it it. Ezra wasn't happy about something in your story. You are obviously avoiding telling me something. What is it? And Leela's going to say, look, it wasn't human. Its eyes were different. They were a yellow, sort of fishy. It had gills and fins. It did not have hair. Its skin was not skin. It had scales. It was sort of human in shape, but monstrous. And he's going to look at her and hear what she's saying. And so I'm going to roll compel to see how he reacts. I'm not trying to lie or swindle him. I'm not trying to threaten or incite him. So I think I have to roll heart. I'm trying to convince him that this is the truth. And I get a weak hit. Okay, so strong hit. They'll do what you want or share what you know. Take +1 momentum. Okay, so I'm gonna get +1 momentum. If you use this to gather information, which I'm not doing. Hang on. Maybe I am. We'll consider that in a second. On a weak hit, as above, but they ask something of you in return. Okay, so this is a little bit trickier because I've told him something. He believes I am telling the truth. He doesn't necessarily believe what I say is true. He believes that I'm telling the truth. He's going to say, and what did it say? It wasn't just What did it say? You said it. You said it talked about a promise. What else was there? Is that the whole story? And she's going to say, "Oh." He's going to say, "Come clean with me. If we are going to work together, I will accept your help. But we need to be clean with each other and tell each other all we need to be clean with each other. We need to share the information. Even if it's someone here, I won't hold, and even if it's someone from New Rock." And she's going to look down and say, it said it had made a promise with Tessa. Is she going to tell him Tessa? Is she going to say it had made a promise with someone, one of the village, someone from Haven? She's not going to name Tessa. Made a promise with someone, and he's going to say who, and she's going to look at him and say, "If I tell you, will you give it away?" And he's going to look at her at that. And go and nod. And he's going to say, "Well, we will question everyone in the village then, and ask everyone questions. And I expect you to help me find what find them." No, she's sworn an iron vow, so she is bound to find this person, and that means finding out what Tessa knows. So he's going to accept it. Because of the iron vow, he is going to accept that she's not going to tell him right now, but he knows that she has held one bit of information. So I'm going to roll gather information to see what, instead of just him telling her about everything that he knows, I'm going to roll gather information to see what he tells her. And we're going to get that +1 because we did come clean about everything except who. And we're going to get a strong hit. Okay. Gather information when you search an area. Conduct an investigation, follow a track. Okay. So you discover something specific and helpful. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn. Ask the oracle if unsure, and take 2 momentum. Is this progress? Quest moves. Ooh. Oh, I was supposed to roll when I swore a vow. Okay. Let me roll this. When you swear upon iron to complete a quest, write your vow and give the quest a rank. Then roll heart. If you make this vow to a person or community with whom you share a bond, add +1. I do not share a bond with him. Heart or devout stat is 2. Submit, no modifier. Strong hit. You are emboldened and it is clear what you must do next. Ask the oracle if unsure. Okay. So we worked that out and we are... Oh God. I could have forsaken the vow at the very beginning. Okay, that would have changed what had happened. So we've got the vow. Reach a milestone. When you make significant progress on your quest by overcoming a critical obstacle, completing a perilous journey, solving a complex mystery, defeating a powerful threat, gaining vital support, or acquiring a crucial item, you may mark progress. Okay, I am going to mark progress. Because we have established trust for the quest with Albin. So, Albin and we're going to say, all right, Albin, and Albin is now telling me what I need to know in order to ask questions. So he's going to tell me about Kara. Kara had come with Kinara as a bodyguard. She had been hired. So let's work out Kara. Oracles. Character role. We'll get role mercenary. So Kara was paid. Bought and paid for. Her goal, fulfill a duty. So maybe I shouldn't have rolled that yet. Let's get some descriptors. Suspicious, wise, and critical. I wonder what critical... critical, like, it's very critical of other people and things. Disposition. Unfriendly. I've got to be honest, I am thinking that she is a red herring because we know that the creature was killed by a non-human thing. But we don't know yet. We don't know what relationship she had with it, just that she wasn't on the boat. So he tells us about Kara. Kara signed on with other mercenaries that they hired in order to were act as guards. She was put on Kinara's boat, and it wasn't the first stop that they made in the Barrier Isles. So we don't know yet that she was on the thing, so she could have gotten off the boat somewhere else. We just know that she wasn't here with New Rock because they've come straight from the mainland to New Rock when they heard the news. No, he's tracking something. He's turned up by himself. They suspected that something was wrong. What did they suspect was wrong? Something happened. Something happened somewhere else, and he... is it settlement trouble? Action? Theme? Not a combat action. Major plot twist? No. So we'll go settlement trouble. Provisions are scarce. So provisions, I think that they had lost some of their... So he's come out here by himself. Provisions have been... I think that they've lost a stockpile, or they've not gotten anything in, or they've just gotten in a new... They've just gotten in a new shipment. They've just bought a bunch of stuff, and it was taken violently en route. The boat, they lost the boat, they lost all the supplies. The merchant and the mercenaries were gone. There was a lot of blood on the boat. But but nothing else to give them any information. And so he has come after Kinara, knowing his schedule. He's come to New Rock, thinking that this is where he'd be, and found that he's dead. Or no, maybe he's tracked someone from that thing. He hasn't come to Kinara. He's tracking. He doesn't suspect Kara. He suspects someone else. There is someone else. He suspects Bass. Good thing I didn't change my name to Bass. He suspects that Bass's role is to harm a rival. Oh, they are the rival. That's easy. He suspects that Bass works for a competing merchant guild, a competing merchant group. He is cruel, experienced, and hard-hearted. What is his role? He's a sailor. And he was on the boat, and he was seen in the town. So his disposition is curious. Maybe disposition is not something I should roll for when I meet characters. Current disposition. Generally seemed a curious fellow. Yeah, we can do that. Generally seemed a curious fellow. We got reports that he was seen after the boat incident, and so we tracked him out here. He got on a boat that headed in this direction. Kinara was here, so I came to let him know, and use this as a base to look for him. So, having their two descriptions, we are going to go back into the community and spread word. Now we're looking for information, so we're going to roll gather information again, but what we're doing is we're going in and we're talking to everyone one by one, starting with the elder and then moving through the town and saying, these are the two people that we are looking for. Kara, who might be on the island somewhere, and Bass, who might have come ashore in some other way. We need to see if there is any boats or anywhere that someone could have hidden a boat around the island. But these are the people we are looking for. And so it's framed very much as, so everyone is aware, these are the two people we are looking for. This is who we suspect. And so as we're moving through the community, I'm rolling gather information to see if we can find some information about it. Now I share a bond with the community, so I'm adding 1 to my roll. Miss, we don't find anything. On a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price. Part of me is actually happy about this result, because it means they're not here. No one knows anything, and more to the point, Tessa knows nothing. When we question Tessa, because she's just another member of the community, she doesn't reveal that she has any. In fact, she we it reveals an unwelcome truth. So this is welcome to me as a player, but not to the quest. It means that whatever she was doing is separate. So she actually, after being questioned, relaxes because not because the questioning is over, but because the questioning didn't touch on, and so she starts to be more as it goes to an end. Uh, the questioning gets to an end. She gets to be more open and everything without information, and even wanting to help, because what we're looking for is not what she's up to. We're not looking for creatures. We're looking for something else. We're looking for a mercenary, a guard that's gone rogue, MIA, and a sailor who probably hasn't even shown up on the island. And so, having gone through the community, she's going, yes, I'm possibly in the clear. There's no suspicions on me or whatever it is that I am doing. So there's going to be another question that I have to ask about how how Albin is going to take this. Because Albin, after we've done questioning everyone, we're going to say, all right, well, we're going. In fact, we're going to organize with the village elder. No, we're just going to strike out and do it ourselves. We're going to go looking for anyone around the island for any boats, any ways that you could have gotten to the island, especially if they're hidden. And Leela would have a pretty good idea. In fact, might even ask. If Leela doesn't have a good idea herself, she can easily find out whose boats are whose by talking to. She has that friend, I'm sure, who would love to Miller. Love to get in on the goss. So she can find out which boats belong to other people from the Haven. So they're going to go out searching for another boat, and while they're alone, Albin and Leela are alone searching for this boat again. In fact, no, they're not going to be alone. They're actually going to go and get Miller, and we're going to go looking with Miller through around the island, because not only she is an active fisher, actively goes out fishing, which means that she will have a good idea of what's around and where things are. So we're going to roll gather information again to see if we can find specifically a boat or that anyone else has come to shore. Any evidence of something being around here that isn't supposed to be here. Gather information again. Roll. We're rolling wits. And we're getting the help of Miller, who is very knowledgeable about all of this, so I'm getting another +1. And we get a weak hit. On a weak hit, the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum. I'm gathering up the momentum. So this is not progress on the quest, on the vow that I have made. I think we find evidence of the creatures. I think we find evidence of whatever it is that Tessa is involved in. So let's not jump to your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Given the amount of time that we've been going with, I know I don't want to start a combat. And I think that it probably fits more not to go with here is a creature. Instead, I am discovering... We're discovering a cache. The creature had taken supplies. I think we discover its home. I think even maybe not too close to where I'd found it and killed it. We find in another cavern, another cave, signs of where it was living. It had been collecting things. It had been... So there are things gathered up. There is somewhere for... It was even pulling itself out of the water to sleep. It had carvings that it had been making, and it has stuff that is clearly from the Haven. It is stuff that is clearly man-made. We don't know too much about it or what it things, but it has tools and everything. But it has things that could have come from the thing. And I think that what we've done is we've found where the creature was from and what that is going to do. I think this is what you do, right? You end episodes on cliffhangers. We found the lair of the creature. So it's not here. It obviously hasn't been tended, but someone has come through recently. More recent in the last week. So we'll say that a week has passed since or maybe a few days because he's come by himself. But in the time that a week because I needed to heal up. In the time that I've been resting because of the fight, since I've killed the creature, someone else has been here. And they haven't come from the water. They came from land. And that is where we will leave it for today. So this is great. We've found something else entirely. It has nothing to do with the quest. It has everything to do with the first episode. Albin doesn't know. All we're finding is this is the creature that had to do with it. Maybe this is whether or not this is even related. The creature might not be related to it at all. It might still have been related, but it might have been a complete different thing. And so we've gone and gotten ourselves involved in a big undertaking that is not going great. It's a long way from being it is a long way from being resolved, and we're finding essentially red herrings. So this will be fun little path to go on in the next episode, which I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you're enjoying Ironsworn, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.